work in progress still. We are making progress, we feel, particularly on the defensive end, but we still are a work in progress. Gave up way too many offensive rebounds, which is what made the game close. You know, and they're not the biggest team in the world, but sometimes speed is harder to block out even than the other. And again, if we shore that part of it up in that game anyway, we probably win going away. Did a good job not turning the ball over tonight and forcing a lot of turnovers by them. Had another high deflection game, and when we get a high deflection game, that usually spells victory for us. So
and a lot of assists too, especially early in the game.
Yeah, early in the game. First half, we had 23 deflections at halftime. We slowed down a little bit in the second half, but normally that happens a little bit because coaches yell at them at halftime and say, "Quit turning the ball over, quit, take care of the ball," and so deflections usually go down a little bit. But I thought they made the little run at us, and we did a better job. Then we made a run right back at them, where in the last couple games we've held on for dear life. And this was the first time we made a little offensive run right back at them and pushed it back out. And so, we were able to get the margin of victory by 11.
Got the big shot from Kevin Johnson there when they hit it down to 3. It's good to see him contributing a little more.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Kev's a good player. When he plays under control, they're all the same. When they play under control and do what they're capable of doing, don't try to do too much, any player, then they're good players. And Kevin's one of our best defenders. No, probably is our best defender. So it's good to be able to have him on the floor a little bit more, but you got to be able to count on him on the offensive end in terms of not turning it over, taking good shots, and those kind of things. And when he plays that way, he worries about defense, and he plays that way on the offensive end, and then he's going to be a real factor on our team, and he helps give us that guard rotation which we need because we can't keep playing guys 35 minutes.
What did you guys want to do with Gray? Held him to 6 points. Was there anything in particular that you were trying to do?
Well, he's a guy, he can make threes. I mean, he can make some threes, but he's really attack the basket. His best game is 75% of his points are scored inside the line. So he's a guy that's a great floater shooter, great layup maker, and that kind of stuff. So the whole mantra for us defensively was stay in front of him. Stay in the first half, we got on his side a little bit, and he beat us down the lane, got a couple buckets. But once we begin to stay in front of him, then and you don't let him penetrate into the lane, then again he's not a guy that's going to kill you by jumping over top of the outside of 3 and making them. His whole game is built on driving the ball. So whole thing was, and that's not only an individual thing, that's a team thing. You got what we call load the box. You got to shrink the gaps he has to drive in. But in this game, you really had to do a good job of staying in front of it, and which we did.
You looking forward to playing Temple again?
Our guys, absolutely. At this point, it's one game at a time. We just, we got to think about the next one and try to win that one. And obviously they beat us here at home. I don't know what happened with them in Memphis. I didn't see the final on that. Chances are they may have lost at Memphis, so they're going to be desperate for a win at home as well. And we've got to go up there and that game was probably the game that, looking back on it, that enough was enough. We just weren't very active on the ball. We weren't pressuring the ball. We went back and looked at past performances in other years by us and why we were so much better defensively. And it was clear cut that our pressure and activity on the ball was so much better at that point in the season. And after the Temple game, that's really, in practice, I mean, all we worked on was, all right, we got to quit being afraid to get beat off the dribble. You got to get up. You got to get some pressure on the ball. You got to we're not getting deflections because we got no pressure on the ball. And, when you don't have pressure on the ball, everything behind you becomes easy for a passer. You got to buy guys time behind you. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to be a count late. Pressure eliminates a lot of that or covers that up. And the Temple game, we just let them shoot whenever they wanted to. They drove whenever they wanted to, passed the ball wherever they wanted to. So, it'll be interesting this time. We got to go in there and do what we've been doing the last few games. Have a high deflection game. We got to put real pressure on the ball. Don't give them in rhythm, easy looks. And they made some tough shots, but and they'll shoot tough shots. That's their nature. Well, if that's the case, you certainly can't, if we're gonna make a few tough ones, you can't give them any easy ones. And you gotta make them shoot all tough ones, because they're gonna shoot a low percentage of that, even though they're gonna make a few of them. So, yeah, our guys are looking forward to that. They're really looking forward to it, I think.
Since then, 4 in a row, you've held the opponents under 60. How close is this defense to where you guys want it to be and where you envisioned it at the beginning of the year?
Well, I mean, obviously, we're a lot closer, but, like all coaches, I don't think any of us are, our staff's not satisfied, Mick's not satisfied yet, and we can get better. We've got to rebound the ball better. I mean, that's one of the last pieces for us. If we can keep our deflections up, we can keep the pressure we're having on the ball right now, and keep people from driving it easy on us, because that's what happened in the Temple game too. They drove it easy on us. Then the last real piece is we've got to rebound the ball. We've got to get bodies on people, and we've got to take personal responsibility. Our guards have got to get in the fight more. Sometimes Tay and Gary and Corey and Quad and those guys are down there. They're battling, they're battling down there. And like Coach kept saying in the timeouts, look, those guys are battling down there, and if the ball takes one wrong bounce, they can't get it. You guards got to get in there and get in the fight and come up with the loose balls that are being tipped around. And, Kev got in there and got the really tough rebound, and those kind of things win you games. But for us, the next piece is, we got to do a much better job rebounding the ball and keep making progress. But we've come a long way since 4 games ago. There's no question. We've come a long way defensively since 4 games ago.
Think about moving Gary Clark to guard so he can shoot more threes.
No. But, it's good that the kid's confident enough now, and he's worked really hard on it. Feet set. But Gary's smart enough to know you'll never. I don't think you'll see him. Certainly not this year. Take 4 or 5. You might see him take 1 or 2, maybe. But
5 out of 8.
Yeah. Hey. But he's taking good shots. He's taking wide open shots.
Coach.
Yep.